Hello, welcome everyone to Technicado Pro. Today we are going to start our third lecture on Docker and we are going to learn how to create Docker files. So our main aim today will be to complete these things. Yeah, here it is. So what is Docker file, how to create a Docker file and how to build image out of a Docker file and some basic commands related to Docker files. Okay, so Docker file is basically what we know of is used to create an image of any application. So in the previous lecture, we learned that we can pull an image from Docker Hub and create an application out of it by spinning up a container. Now, what is the case when we want to create a new image according to our application? Like suppose we have a Java-based application, the developers have created it, then how can we create an image out of it? So that can be done with the help of a Docker file. So Docker file, there will be some instructions inside it mentioning that how that particular image is created, from where that particular image is created, and then once those that particular Docker file is run, we will create an image, and then we will use the specific way that we have learned in our last lecture to create a container out of it and host that particular application. Okay, so let's start our session today. So Dockerfile, you can name it with the help with Dockerfile only, or you can name it with some other name, but you have to specify that this is the Dockerfile. Okay, so we will see how it works. Let's start. Yeah. So Dockerfile, what we are going to do in this is this thing. What first of all, Dockerfile, like I said, it's an automation of image creation. So whatever image we are going to create, we'll automate it. So what it will have a text file that will have the instructions to build that particular image. And how we are going to build that particular image with the help of these three basic commands. These are the basic commands. You can use others also, but first we'll learn about these things. Okay, and in case and how we are going to do this, these will be the steps. First thing, we will create a file called as Docker file only. We will add instructions inside it, and we will build a Docker file to create image out of it. And once that image is created, then we will follow the usual process of creating a container from that particular image. Okay, so these will be the commands for building an image. We'll see how we can do it. So first of all, we'll create a directory for Dockerfile, and it will be named Dockerfile only, and we will log in into it. Now, what is our next step? We have to create a file called Dockerfile. We have created a directory right now. We will now create a file. So you can use touch command to directly create a file, log in into that Docker file, and here we are going to add instructions. Okay, yeah. So we are first going to use from, and before using it, you can just write it that what you are going to do it. So first Docker. Uh, just a minute. Yeah, so I was having problem in my terminal uh, while creating a script for Dockerfile. So I've already created it, and will show you how the Dockerfile looks. So here is my Dockerfile. I'll just cat it, right? So this is my basic Dockerfile. So the first command is from. From means from which image you are going to create your application image. So we are going to download Ubuntu image, and then we will make some changes inside it and then create our application image. Okay, so this will be our base image Ubuntu. Then we will run an update command that we will update our machine with all the commands, with all the softwares that are available inside it, and then the what changes we will make in this Ubuntu image, we'll just echo a line that this is my first Docker file. So we are not going to change much into it. We are just changing a line that we, whatever image we are creating from it, it will have this line so that it can confirm that new image has been created. Correct? So let's try it. So what commands we are going to use for building our image? Here it is. So what we are going to do is first we'll use docker build. So docker build command will be run either in that particular location where the Docker file is located, or if you are running it from a different location, then you have to specify the whole location. So currently I am in the same location where I need to run it because my Docker file is already available here. So what I'll do, I'll just use docker build. So this is the main command, and if you are in the same location, you will just use dot. Correct, but we will expand this command more because we will work in a production environment. So what we need to do is we will have to use a hyphen t tag, because if we are not using tag, because we are going to change the base Ubuntu image, we need to give it a name. So that can be provided with the help of t tag, and then you have to give the image name colon tag. Okay, so our image name, what was the image name? It was Ubuntu, and then we will give them tag as 1.0. Okay, and because we are going to do this in the same location, we are just going to type dot. Correct. So we'll run it. Okay, sorry, we have to do it with this invalid reference from the. Okay, okay, fine, yeah, fine. So we made a mistake. I'll change. So we ran this command. So we don't have to name it Ubuntu because Ubuntu is the base image and we have already mentioned it in the Docker file. We have to give it our own name. So it will be Technicato Pro colon 1.0 and then space and dot. Okay, this should work now. Still not Docker build help. Yeah, so we made a mistake by creating a Docker file. So what we did here, we have written from Ubuntu and the U of Ubuntu was in caps lock. So we have to use smaller case altogether. So we will again create it. We have already created the Docker file and we will use the build command now. Correct. So this will be our build command. So you see here that, let it run. Yeah. Now we will see what has happened here. So it has started from the first step, our first command from Ubuntu. It is pulling the image. Pull is completed. Again, the certificate is generated, downloaded newer image. That is, we got the latest image from Ubuntu. Then it has run the update system command. It is updating everything, all the packages available inside it. Yeah, it is removing intermediate container. So whatever container was already available, it is removing it because it's updating it. Okay, so it is running inside this one. So when you have given the cmd one, so it has created a container and it is running inside this. So this is our this was our container. So it, now it is removing it because the image has been successfully built and it has been successfully tagged here. Correct. So this is how we created Docker file, and so the image has been created. So let's check how the image is shown here. Sudo docker images. So you can see here, this is the one that we have just created, correct? And we need to create a container out of it. So we need to run sudo docker run hyphen d, because we are going to run in a detached mode, and the image id. Remember, always use image id, not the repository name or anything else. Correct? See, this is the container. Now let's check what containers are running here. Oh, yeah, the container is not yet started. Okay, we have to start the container also. Right. So there was a problem in our original Docker file that we created, the bracket problem. If you want, you can go and change it. So we used a curly bracket here, which we shouldn't have used it. We now have to use a square bracket. So I have followed all the steps again, and I have created a new image with the tag 1.1. Okay, so we will run this particular image. So I'll copy this thing, sudo docker run. See, okay, so this was, we were echoing my first Docker file, so it has echoed. So that means this Docker file is running. So this is how you create a Docker file and you understand that what you are doing it. So from is again the image that you are going to use for to creating a new image, right? So you will take a base image for this, and if you when you are using run, so run will define what you are going to do inside that particular server. So here we are going to just update our all the softwares inside our server. Cmd is cmd, if you work in a Windows server, you will know that what the cmd command is. So there is a again a black box that is open and you run certain command. So here we can do anything inside it. You can provide a link for a file also, but here what, because we are trying to understand what it does, we are just echoing a command that my first docker file is this, correct? So this is how we are going to run, and this is what the docker file does. So let's check sudo docker ps, nothing is running. And in case if we want to uh, create a container out of it, how we are going to do?